My mother always told me to smile and put on a happy face.
Smile, though your heart is aching. Smile, even though it's breaking. When there are clouds.
Joker is a 2019 psychological crime drama, I guess. Well, I'll get into that in a bit. And it was directed by Todd Phillips, who most famously directed the Hangover trilogy, and oddly enough, a lot of comedies before Joker. And of course stars Joaquin Phoenix, a very famous actor. He was in Gladiator, he was in Her, lots of films, and now he is in the role of the Joker, the classic DC Comics character, Batman's arch enemy for the past 70 years or whatnot. And Joker is kind of the origin story of the villain, where he comes from, because that isn't really explained that much in any of the other films. It wasn't explained in The Dark Knight or Batman or anything like that. Very vague references. And, in the comics it's sort of alluded to, but, I like the Joker as a mysterious type of character, but I was excited to go into this film because Joaquin Phoenix is a great actor, and the trailers really made it mysterious and interesting. I was so excited to check it out. Now, before I even get into the film itself, there's a lot of controversy surrounding Joker, especially with the violence and the implications of extreme darkness in the movie. Now, let me just be frank. I've seen a buttload of dark films. I watch horror movies all the time. I fall asleep watching The Exorcist. Darkness is kind of something that I'm used to in a lot of films. And Joker, honestly, to a horror veteran, is not all that shocking compared to many other films I've seen. Take, for instance, even Midsommar, which came out a few months ago, was far more shocking than this film. But I understand for a mainstream audience, especially with the Joker character being a comic book character and comic book films being so mainstream, I can see how people could get the misconception. This is not really a comic book film. This is a psychological thriller, crime drama, teetering on horror. It definitely is a little bit depressing, especially actually most of it, but especially the very beginning. And overall, I really did enjoy Joker. There are some flaws I had with it, but general thoughts, very excellent film. All the technical works of it are spectacular. The soundtrack is incredible. It's very tense and eerie. I also love the old music that they play. I love old classical music. The lighting and camera work is exceptional. Of course, all of the acting is top-notch. Joaquin Phoenix is amazing as the Joker, the title character, which they had to get down, and they did. But to me, my gripe comes in with the story, mostly. I like how it's very vague in a lot of the things it implies, which I give kudos because a lot of films are very on the nose now. But there are some things that I would have fixed, and the main problem I had with it is, if this is the Joker origin movie, the character of Arthur, Joker, that we see at the beginning of the film is very different from the Joker that we see at the end of the film, and I couldn't quite connect the two together. Arthur is a very mentally disturbed individual with many problems, psychological, especially from the abuse he's taken from society, his mother, people around him, and his own mind. And the end result, at the very end, the Joker that we see is very, I guess, a little more intelligent, more rational. There is some implication that has to do with the medicine that he's taking, and he finally gets cut off of it, so I can see where that comes in, but I wish that was a heavier focus. There also is, a political subplot, too, where people are rallying behind the Joker, the clown, because he's kind of opposed to the rich, which isn't really the Joker's narrative at all, but the people really love that narrative, and Joker eats it up because he craves attention. I liked that part, and I really like the development of Arthur throughout the film, and I wish they would have focused on those things more. It gets tied into the Wayne family a little bit, which you kind of saw where that was going to go. Obviously, they had to because it's Batman. Batman's kind of the main thing. But this isn't really about Batman. This is about the Joker. And I like what they did with him overall. There are those things that I wish they could have fixed. The tone is very dark and menacing. It's a very slow-paced film. If you like really fast-moving action superhero films, this isn't for you. This is a very slow-paced film. In fact, many people are comparing it to Taxi Driver and Martin Scorsese films, which I can see where they're getting that parallel. Actually, Robert De Niro's in the movie, too, playing a talk show host, which honestly were some of the best parts of the film to me. I had a fun time watching Joker. It's hard to watch in many scenes because you see all the things being beaten into this man, driving him into insanity, and it's very disturbing stuff. Overall, a really good movie. The presentation's very well done. Joaquin Phoenix is amazing. The story beats, like I mentioned, especially getting from point A to point B with the Joker's character, I wish could have been a little more expanded upon, because I liked how he was developing, but I couldn't quite see the pieces connecting until the very end, and I wish we saw it the entire time. But with that said, Joker is a very excellent movie. Again, not the typical comic book film, but if you like the darkness of the Joker and what that character is, you will probably enjoy this movie quite a bit. Only other nitpick that I had that I just thought of is when you think about the past Jokers, you think of Heath Ledger, who was such a dark, menacing character. And then you think of Jack Nicholson, who I love, but he's very zany and funny, and he's dancing around and stuff. I wish there would be a better hybrid of those two. Joaquin Phoenix dives more into the Heath Ledger stuff than the zany, and Joker needs kind of both, because he's a clown and he's goofy and insane, but he's also intelligent, dark, and creepy. They need the two. And I wish there would have been a little more goofiness with the character rather than just straight up mental insanity. But for what you get, Joker is overall a great piece of film. I'm going to give Joker a 4 out of 5 skulls on the R.I.P. Reviews rating scale. Probably gonna have to be one of the better films I've seen this year. I think Us is still topping it for me thus far. But we'll see. The Lighthouse is coming out, Dr. Sleep. There are other films that could potentially top my list, but we will see where it goes. Joker was excellent. And if you're a Batman Joker fan, I want to hear from you in the comments. How did you like how Todd Phillips and the crew and Joaquin handled this character that is so close to many people?
Murray, one small thing.
Yeah.
When you bring me out, can you introduce me as Joker?
And if you're still watching, welcome to the spoiler section of the review. I wasn't originally going to do a spoiler section because there's not really any big twists in the movie. There are a couple twists and turns, but nothing too major like in Us or, Get Out or something like that. But I still wanted to talk about some of the things that may be spoilery, but you might want to hear my thoughts on. So first of all, Arthur has a lot of delusions, and we see that very early on in the film. He thinks that he's in Murray's show, and of course, come to find out that he was imagining a lot of the things that happened in the movie, including the woman at his apartment building. You think that they're in some sort of relationship, but turns out she's another hallucination. That was interesting. You can kind of see it coming with some of the signs that it points to. The violence was handled pretty well. In a lot of movies, they really like to overshow too much, and I think they did a good job of making things subtle. Joker does kill quite a few people, and some of them are oddly violent. In fact, the most interesting one to me was the Murray death, when he shoots Murray out on air, because it's just so quick and sudden, and it's very startling stuff. They handled that really well. Like I said, I enjoyed the film overall. I didn't quite get how the end Joker, where he's very, he's not giggling like a crazy man all the time like he is at the beginning of the movie. He has all the makeup on, he's very serious, he's on the talk show, he's saying, you know, society did this to me and stuff like that, and then he's rallying up those people at the end. I like that, and I didn't quite get how that connected to Arthur at the beginning, where he's laughing on the subway, he's goofy like a clown. I didn't see the connection there quite as well. Perhaps it's because of those medications, but again, I wish that would have been more heavily alluded to in the script. The script is good, but I wish it would have been a little more on the nose, which I hate to say because I love vagueness in films. You know, movies like The Shining and The Exorcist do a great job at, you know, not telling you everything. It doesn't treat the audience as an idiot. But I wish certain things would have helped us out more to understand the character, because this is a really heavy character piece on Arthur, on the Joker. Also, speaking of the Joker, I want to hear your thoughts in the comments about the fact that they tied it into the Wayne stuff. We saw Bruce Wayne. Could we see a movie with Joaquin Phoenix's Joker fighting Batman? The age gap is a little interesting because he's like 12 in this, so, you know, 10, 15 years. Joker would be benching, what, like 50, 60 something? I still would love to see that movie because, like I said, great job in this film. But we'll see where DC wants to pull it. DC has been struggling with their films, so it should be interesting to see where they go over the next several years. Anyways, those are my thoughts. Thank you for watching this review, and remember, for all things Halloween, this is Hauntformer.